FRM level 1 and level 2 curriculum. Okay, in this entire discussion, okay, we will be talking about what is been the change from 2025 to 2026. But before that, give me a quick confirmation if you can see me, hear me and see the screen properly. सबको मेरी आवाज आ रही है? All good? Is the voice clear so that we can start? Right. In the FRM exam, okay, what exactly is FRM? Just a brief for all the students. Okay, so FRM is Financial Risk Management Program. Okay, and it's a globally recognized program and also gold standard in risk management. It has primarily two levels. Okay, level 1, which is kind of foundation, okay, for your exam. Okay, it gives you the basics of your quant, basics of your financial markets and products. It gives you the basics of valuation methodologies that are there used in the bank. Okay, so that is basically your foundation. Okay, but what about level 2? Level 2 is more in detail. It is basically being created so that you, being a risk manager, you should get a flavor of all different types of risk. Okay, in simple language, they are helping you, okay, to understand that the different types of risk, like market risk, credit risk, operation risk, all of these different risks you understand in much better way. Okay, so level 2 is much more advanced. For level 1, there is 100 question. For level 2, it is 80 question. Okay, exam window is May, August and November. Okay, now over here, what I'm going to look at is what are the windows, the exam windows. I know people have appeared for it. People are registered for May exam also. So exam window is this for May, for level 1 and level 2. And similarly, we have the exams for August and November. Okay, I will give you an overview of the weightages also. For example, in level 1, there are 4 books. Okay, the weightage is around 20-20 and 30-30%. Okay, so this weightage is almost been standard since the beginning. So there's no change as such for level 1. Now we'll go more in detail about the changes that are happening in level 1. Okay, so FRM level 1, who can write these exams? Okay, somebody is asking this question. So anybody who can, there are college students who can write this exam, graduate. If you're working, everybody can go for this exam. So appear for the exam, there is no restriction. But once you become an FRM, you need a graduation degree to get the charter. Okay, so everybody remembers that. Okay, now when we talk about the level 1, book 1, which is nothing but a foundation of risk management. Okay, now historically, I'll give you a brief also. Historically, what this book has been covering is that the basics of risk management, how do companies look at risk, what are the different types of risk, what is the methodology related to risk, then how does culture plays a very important role. This book also talks about the major issues that has happened, okay, major financial losses that the banks have faced. Then they also talk about portfolio management. So these 2 chapters talks about portfolio management. Okay, the learning from financial disaster talks about the losses that the banks have faced. Then these 2 chapters talks about how ethics have played role in 2007 and 8, how ethics have failed and how you as a risk professional should learn about it. So from the curriculum perspective, there is no change for level 1, book 1. Okay, 2026 curriculum is almost same. Okay, for book 2, okay, there is 1 chapter which is stationary time series. What they've done is they've added few learning objectives. Now I do not expect a very big change over here. Okay, they've added some calculation part, but all the major chapters are same. Okay, only there is 1 chapter which is stationary time series. Now people who have appeared for the exam, they know that, or prepared for the exam, they know that stationary and non-stationary both are connected chapters, right? So what they've done, they have added few specific learning objective. Okay, specifically they've added 1 or 2 calculation aspect, okay, which is calculation of AR and MR process. Previously they've just given you the formula, but now what they did is they basically added some calculation aspect and they've added model selection criteria, which I feel is important from the exam perspective, this learning objective. Okay, we'll be also coming out with 1 video talking about one of the important concepts that can get tested in your upcoming exam for your 2026 May. Okay, so I'll be talking about that also. Deeper statistical testing, again they have given you the Q test, which also I feel is important, which is a new addition. So these 2 things, model selection criteria and the Q test, both are important from the exam perspective. That has been the new addition for your book 2. Okay, when we go towards the next, which is your book 3. Okay, again, primarily book 3 has been more related to products, market, within products also futures and forwards, then also talks about the valuation of forwards and futures. They also give you the introduction about options. Okay, they also give you introduction about swaps, FX. All of this is almost the same. There is no explicit change. You can see more or less the curriculum is almost the same. Okay, when we go to the book 4, okay, the book 4, which is related to valuation and risk model, so it gives you bond valuation, it gives you VAR and risk modeling related concept. It also goes in detail of the option pricing. So there are last 3 chapters which focus on option pricing. Almost your entire book 4 is same. Okay, you can see there is no change in the learning objective. Almost it is entirely the same. Okay, so it's a very good news for people who are preparing from the 2025 book. Okay, the only change is the book 2. There is 1 chapter, so nothing to worry much about here. You can continue reading from your book of 2025, and when there is 2026 book available, you can just highlight what is the change that is there in that particular chapter and go for the exam. Okay, so nothing to worry about for level 1 students. Now for level 2, okay, FRM level 2, there has been major changes. Okay, there has been major changes. These are the weightages that we see for your FRM exam. Okay, 20%. The first 3 books, market, credit and operation, heavy weightage, which is 20%. Then you also have 15% in liquidity, 15% in your risk management book and the current issues book. Now, when you look at the overall level 2 curriculum, okay, and I'll just take you back some time back. So last year they changed credit risk. Okay, so very recent change, so no major change again happening. Operation risk was changed 1 year before that, and liquidity risk was added actually in 2020 or 2021. Entire liquidity risk book was added. So these 3 books are fairly new books in your curriculum. And market risk, this year they have not changed anything. Okay, in the sense that market risk is the core of your risk management. So, and most of the content that they are covering in your market risk book is very good. Okay, so in terms of learning, so they have not made any changes. So when you go, okay, for book 1, I'll also address the queries also. If you can put it on the chat, I'll take your name and also address. Okay, so for first book, okay, there has been no major changes. Okay, I'll just zoom in. There has been no major changes, you can see. Okay, almost all the chapters are same. Okay, there is no explicit variation over there. So very good. People who are preparing from 2025 book, they can continue with the market risk and they can continue with the other books also. Like for example, for credit risk, there is no change. Okay, explicitly there is no change in the curriculum. Credit risk is also very lengthy book. Okay, for the exam it is also heavy weightage. There's good amount of calculation that is there, but it is also very lengthy book. Okay, level 2 operational risk, lengthy in terms of theory, so it's primarily theory. Again, there is no change in this book. Okay, almost same content. Okay, the last chapters are related to Basel. Okay, nothing changed, same. So first 3 book, which are the heavy weightage book, almost the same. So if you're preparing now for the next year May exam and you do not have the 2026 book, I would suggest you start with operation risk and credit risk or market risk. Okay, liquidity risk also is almost same, but there is one section which is monitoring liquidity. This chapter has been slightly updated. Okay, so there has been an update in the learning objective. Okay, and this chapter, which is your illiquid asset, this chapter has been removed and it has been moved. Okay, it has been moved to the other book. Okay, so liquidity risk, slight change. Okay, again, if you wish to read, leave these 2 chapters and read rest of the book. Okay, for your 2026 preparation. Now the major change has happened in the last 2 books, which is your risk management book, risk management and investment management book, and also the current issues. Now what they have done is, see this chapter, factor theory is still there, but what they have done is they have updated the learning objective. So there is a big change in terms of the learning objective of factor theory. Okay, these chapters are almost same. Okay, VAR and risk budgeting, again some content has been updated. Okay, this, which is the monitoring and risk management chapter, risk performance measure management chapter. Okay, so what they have done is they have removed this chapter and they have combined it with another chapter, which is your performance and due diligence. Okay, there is one more chapter which is here, which is performance and due diligence, which is already there in 2025. So what they did, they removed a lot of content from this chapter. They have removed this chapter and they combined it with the performance and due diligence chapter. Okay, so again, if you are preparing for the 2026 exam, my suggestion would be read from the new book for this and the current issues book. Okay, now all this green that you're seeing, all of them are newly added chapters explicitly into your investment management risk book. So almost there are like 4 and 3, 7 new chapters being added. And the illiquid asset chapter, which was removed from your liquidity risk, has been moved over here. Okay. Now these are very interesting chapters, and I expect some level of questions being added over here. One interesting part, this chapter, risk and risk of private credit, was previously there in your current issues book. That has been moved over here. Okay, that has been moved over here. So some shuffling has happened in this section. So again, investment management risk book, a huge change. They have increased the number of chapters, which has happened. Investment management risk book was never changed in the last 3, 4, 5 years. It was never changed, and this year they have made a very big and drastic change in the curriculum. Okay, what is the focus? They are focusing more on real world investment risk. So if you look at this chapter, Bernie Madoff case has been introduced over here. Previously there was a small chapter, but that chapter has been removed, and they've added an entirely new content over here. Private market and hedge fund. So alternative investment has got good boost. Okay, so previously there was a chapter called hedge fund. Now they explicitly focused only on the hedge fund strategies. Okay, risk and regulation has been introduced, and private market investing. Now these chapters, these 2 chapters are primarily focusing on your alternative investment. So they have given some weightage to alternative investment, even this also, private capital. Okay, so we can see that there is, when we talk about investment, previously it was only related to traditional aspect, but now they've slightly tilted towards alternative investment market also. Okay, what is happening in the current issues book? Okay, major changes again, and this book gets revised almost every year. Okay, so but one thing that we need to highlight is that this chapter, which is your monetary and financial fiscal policy, that has been updated. Okay, these 2 chapters, okay, actually this chapter, the rise, has been moved to the investment management book. Okay, and digital resilience, this chapter has remained same. Okay, these last 3 chapters have been removed. I've just added it explicitly just to show you. Okay, but look at the green ones, which are the new ones which are being added, and if you read the content, they are more AI focused, AI systematic risk related aspect which has been there. So again, you can see that entire risk management is focusing more on AI. Okay, and I'll take this point. So there is one more certification that GARP has come out with, which is risk and AI. Okay, if you are a risk management professional, or if you are somebody who wants to become a part of the risk management culture, and you want to grow in this space, AI is going to impact. So you can see that in FRM also they are adding a lot of AI related content, and that course is explicitly designed for risk professionals who are going to look at AI. Okay, so you can look at that section also. There is regulating cryptocurrency, which is again a repeat of the last part. So more or less they've added 4 chapters, 5 chapters, new chapters in this space, and they've removed 1 chapter from your current issues book and added into the other book. Okay, again a big major revision in your current issues section. Okay, they are focusing more on AI driven market risk and more on regulation and financial stability. Okay, so this has been the major changes into the entire curriculum. I'll address the queries also. If you have any, you can put it on the chat section. So Tariq has asked, please give us exam preparation guidelines. So ideally, if you're looking at FRM level 1 or level 2, ideally level 1 you should be able to complete everything by March end for May exam. Okay, and for level 2 you can focus on April end. Okay, and if you're preparing for March, 3-month preparation plan should be 22. That's 62 chapters. Okay, if you're going for May level 2, okay, and you're starting just now, so you'll have to be slightly cautious because the time is limited. You have 4 months and you have roughly 100 chapters, so you have to complete almost 25 chapters a month. So if you're planning right now for level 2, my suggestion would be go for August. Okay, take a proper 8 months preparation and give the exam properly. Okay, now if you need any help and support for your preparation for FRM, we do have basic plan, which is only question bank. We do have standard and professional plan. A lot of our students who you can see on YouTube, their interviews and all, they've gone through these packages, they've prepared for the exam. Okay, the standard package is with only video lectures and question bank. Basic is only with question bank, and professional is with live session also. Okay, live questions and all of that, question bank, live session and video lectures. Okay, few of the success stories. So you can find these interviews on the YouTube channel, which will help you understand how other people have cleared their exam. Okay, so I'll give you better perspective on what challenges they have faced, which book they referred, which question bank they solved, Okay, so do look at these exam questions also properly. Okay, we have done a lot of interviews for CFA, CIA, SCR, and FRM also. Okay, I also do a lot of interaction with the industry, so podcast related to industry. Okay, explicitly focusing on the preparation part. Okay, so if you look at this section, okay, your industry part, the reason I was doing it, because I realized that the students who are there in the market, they are not able to understand what are the different roles that are available and what exactly happens in that role. So through these podcasts, we try to cover, okay, what is actually happening in those roles. Okay. And people who are new, you can basically subscribe to our channel, okay, and like and share this video to other students who are preparing for the exam. I'll also be taking up the queries, okay. And in case you still want to, still your queries are not addressed, first step you can do it, you can post it on the comment section. I'll personally answer that queries, and if not, then you can reach over here and I will basically talk to you and I will address your queries. Okay, so I'll answer the queries now. Joseph, it has been, you've started preparation for FRM level, it has been 2 weeks. I've completed around 6 chapters. How do I decide? See, you have to think like this. Don't take a decision that, okay, how many chapters I've completed and I'll be able to give the exam. No, don't take that way. You should be focusing on whether you'll be able to maintain that speed. Okay, so 6 chapters is very good. Okay, if you are able to complete, say, around 10 to 15 chapters, 10 is very less, actually 12 to 15, 13 to 15 chapters by the end of this month. That's a very good speed. You can go for the May exam. Okay, because your focus should be to complete everything by March end. Okay, so let us assume you are able to complete on a conservative basis a 15 chapter by the end of this month. Okay, and also please make sure you solve the question bank. Don't keep it at the end. Okay, then you can focus on completing, say, around 20, even if you complete 15 chapters. Okay, 15 in January, 15 in Feb, and 15 in March, still also you are able to complete by the end of March your entire curriculum. You still have April, you still have 10 days of May. So you are right now in a good spot to go for May exam. Okay, so don't worry, you can do it properly. I hope I have answered your query. Any other student, any other faculty, any other queries that you have, you can answer. You can put it on the comment section, chat section. I'll answer it. And I hope this video will help you in your preparation for your exam. Correct? And I'll keep on doing a lot of live sessions. So do subscribe to our channel, because we'll be adding these sessions as a way to enhance the exam preparation part for our students. Okay. So if there is no query, I'll exit the session for today. But if you still have any query, please put it on the chat section, or else you can reach us on this number. Okay. So thank you again, guys.